Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, or good day, or good wherever you find yourself in this big, beautiful, and messy world. I am Carol C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the intention is to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So let me know where you're joining me from. I am in Chicago. It is a hot day here. Welcome to summer if you're in this area of the world, and I guess welcome to winter in the other portions of the world. I'm not sure. Geography is by no means my strong suit. So, welcome, come in, and let's have a chat. And today we are talking about manifestation that was brought up by our community member Jimmy last week. I believe it was Tuesday. Might have even been the week before. I don't remember, but he asked about how to manifest things that you want. But before we get into the conversation today, if you've been with me before, you know I like to go over a couple of housekeeping tips, or not tips, just housekeeping things before we get started. And one is I am not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of the words always, never, right, wrong, good, or bad. There are 7 billion people on this planet. I can't begin to say what is always right or never right for 7 billion people. So what I do is I work on the majority of the time. 0 being always negative, always unkind, always in conflict, and 100 being always positive, always kind, always happy. I don't know anybody at the 0, and I don't know anybody at the 100. But I do know people who are closer to the 0 and the 100. My personal work is to be in the 80 to 100% of the time positive, peaceful, kind, loving, and compassionate. Those are my top values to work with. So, what does that mean? 80 to 100% does not mean always. So, fear visits me, frustration, anger, disappointment, sadness, all of the normal feelings that we go through visit me. But because of my daily practices, they visit and they don't move in. But keep in mind, even though I'm working on the 80 to 100% of the time, because I've been at it for a long time, 51 is the majority of the time. But if you're at 30, if you're at 20, if you're at 40, you're not bad, you're not wrong. It's just where you are and where do you want to be? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to show up in this big, beautiful, and messy world we live in? So that's the first thing I like people to know about me. Secondly, I'm a coach. I love supporting people in living their best life, whatever that looks like. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. And sometimes, in order for us to live our best lives, having counseling and therapy is the way to get there. I believe you are worthy of living your best life. So, whether it's hiring me as a coach, getting therapy, counseling, whatever type of support system you need to live your best life, I highly encourage you to do so. So, those are the clips, housekeeping tips for the day. And I'm going to check in here really quick on comments to see who is joining me. Then I'll go to the topic. Then I'll come back to comments to see if you have any questions about today's topic, or if you have some other topics you would like me to address on my Tuesdays and Thursdays live here. So, hello, Kathy from Michigan. I'm Pamela, summer solstice in Scotland. Pamela, Scotland is on my bucket list to come to. And by the way, Kathy, I go to Michigan often too. I love that. Hello, Liz. Welcome. And Dia, I know you're in Florida. So welcome, everyone. I've probably missed somebody. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. And Kathy, I don't remember where you're located. But also, a third tip, I guess, is to say is I don't always see the comments until later. I don't know why they don't always show up live for me, but sometimes they don't. So I do come back later in the day and look. So if you're asking a question that I don't respond to here, I will look at it later or post it again, and hopefully I will see it. But I'm not always seeing everybody's comments live. So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that too. So today's topic is manifest, and how do we manifest the things that we want? It really seems pretty simple, and yet it can be very challenging as well. So we're going to talk about that. And again, if you're new to my work, what I like to do is I pick a word, we define it, we come up with an affirmation around it to start incorporating that into our daily practices, and then tips around it. So today's word manifest, the definition is to readily perceive by the senses, especially by the senses of sight. So manifesting is to be able to perceive it, be aware of it. You know it's here. It's readily available to you. So our affirmation for the day, and again, affirmation is simply a statement. It's not positive or negative. It's can be positive for you and it can be negative for someone else by how they feel about it. If they say a statement, like if I were to say, okay, today is really hot. If I were to say, I am in a really cold environment, that is a statement, but it's false for me. So I'd immediately think, no, it's not. If I were to say, I am incredibly smart, and immediately in my head thinking of some incredibly not smart things I have done recently, then it would be a false statement for me. I'm incredibly smart is a positive statement. But again, if I'm negating it as soon as I say it, it's not positive for me. You want it to be a positive statement that you believe and that it's a stretch from where you are right now. And it's there to help replace any negative, sometimes unconscious thoughts that we have that are in the back of our heads that we're using to make decisions. They've been here since the first things we've heard at birth to where we are right now. Some of them were meant to be negative towards us, and some of them we took as negative, and the intention behind them were not negative. But the affirmation is to fill yourself up with more love, kindness, and compassion for yourself. So today's affirmation is my life gets better and better each day. And it's a statement that if you're in a really hard place right now, in a challenging place, and you're like, my life isn't getting better each day. Matter of fact, my life is in a really hard place right now. You might want to try, I'm in the process of seeing my life get better and better each day. And again, if that's still a no, then that's not a good affirmation for you. You want it to be a yes. It can be a stretch from where you are, but you want to feel good when you say it. You want to think, get happy and joyful about it rather than immediately saying it's not true. So today's is my life gets better and better each day. Or I'm in the process of believing my life gets better and better each day. So if you have an affirmation on that seems to work for you or you're considering right now, go ahead and put it in comments and we'll take a look at that in a bit as well. But as far as manifesting, so again, it's the being able to perceive it by your senses and you're seeing it physically, that it's manifested, that it is now part of your world. So my first tip that I'm going to give you is to get clear on what you want. Sometimes we think we want something, but we don't really know what it looks like. We don't know what it sounds like. We don't know what it feels like. So whatever it is, I don't know that Jimmy is with us today, but whatever it is you are trying to manifest, I encourage you through this conversation to pick something. And I would actually encourage you to pick something small that is an easier thing for you to manifest. But I want you to get into what that is. So we're going to use jobs as an example for today. So you're wanting to manifest a new job. So what do you want in your job? Do you want to work from home? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to work for a large company? Do you want to work for a small company? Maybe a startup? Maybe you want to work for yourself. Do you want to collaborate with people? Do you want to work by yourself? Do you want to be creative? Do you want to be analytical? What is it in that job that you want it to be? And get clear about it and write as many of the attributes that you want it to be. And then secondly, what I want you to do is know the why behind it. Why is it important for you to have that job? Why is it important for you to work from home? Why is it important for you to go into an office daily? Find that why and feel it. What's that feeling going to be like when you have that dream job? How is that going to feel? Are you going to feel like you have flexibility, freedom? Maybe you're going to feel valued. Maybe you're going to feel that you're contributing to something bigger than you. What it is that you're feeling. So know what it is you want, get clear on it, and then know why you want it and how it's going to feel. So those are the first two tips. And then I want you to understand the don't wants are part of the do wants. We could be manifesting something and really excited about it, and then all of a sudden a don't want happens. I don't know the reason behind this, but I do believe we often move, we often grow, we often expand when something hard has happened to us, when the don't want show up. And so take the don't want that may be showing up in your life right now as a sign that I'm focusing on what I don't want more than focusing on what I do want. It's not bad. It's not wrong to focus on what we don't want, especially if it's a big don't want and it's right in front of us. But where are we giving our biggest amount of attention to? Are we being compassionate with ourselves when the don't want shows up? Are we being kind and gentle to ourselves when the don't wants come up? Are we beating ourselves up over the don't want? Because here we've been manifesting something good and a don't want shows up. That allows us to be clearer about what we want. So use it as a springboard. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend it didn't happen, but be gentle with yourself through that don't want and let that be an avenue for you to get clear exactly on what you do want. You may be wanting to manifest a job and you weren't clear on the boss that you wanted. So you got the new job and then you got an absolute boss that isn't good for you. So that's where the clarity comes into fact. It's like, okay, like the job, don't like the boss. This is the don't want aspect. So being clear on how you want to feel, what type of role you want to have is really helpful in growing into what it is that you do want. And then I encourage you on the manifestation part, especially if it's a new process, is to start with something small. And when I work with clients, and I do this for myself as well, is I have a process that I learned from Michael Lozia years ago, and it's to have in categories of what it is that you're working on. So the first category is I know for sure. And the I know for sure is things that are on my calendar already. I know it's happening. Maybe it's a birthday, an anniversary, a wedding, or a vacation, but I know these things are going to happen for sure. There is zero fear in me that it's not going to take place. So I don't have to give a lot of attention to those because I'm very confident. The second level is things I'm giving attention to. These are the things, and if you've been with me before, I often encourage you to create a list of the smallest thing to the biggest thing that you want to experience in your life. So the things I'm giving attention to would be anything that you want to experience. And when you think about it, so maybe it's, I want a new job. And you're thinking about that new job and you're excited about that new job and you can feel that new job and you're looking forward to that new job. That would be something you're giving attention to. Now, if you're looking for a new job because you're disappointed in what's going on, or you just, people are telling you you need a new job, but more fear comes up about the new job than happiness and opportunity and possibility. You're focused on the don't wants in the new job, the I can't have this in the new job, then you're not going to want to give a lot of attention to it because you're giving negative energy attention to it. You're coming from your fear rather than from your heart. So it's not right or wrong because we all have those things that we want in our lives, yet they're scarier than they are hopeful. So we just don't want to give as much attention to that. Then the third thing is room for more. That would be the big thing that you really want, but you can't see happening. But you still want to write it down because you still want it to be part of what you want to manifest. But that's what you're going to give the least amount of attention to, because when you start giving it attention, fear bubbles up, anxiety bubbles up. What if this doesn't work bubbles up? So you want to focus on the I know this is happening and the ones that you're very confident are going to happen. So give it that kind of attention. And then next, I want you to affirm it. So one of the affirmations that I use with people is it's the 3 steps. I am worthy of, so I am worthy of my dream job. I am deserving of my dream job. I am working in my dream job. I am in the process of getting my dream job. I am worthy of, I am deserving of, I am that, or I am in the process of becoming that. And so use those for whatever it is that you're manifesting. Because a lot of times when we're not manifesting what we want, there is an underlying belief that we don't deserve it. It may be unconscious. It may be our parents have told us that, teachers, educators, friends, family, anybody else might have told us that. And we may not even be aware that in the back of our head, we don't believe we deserve it. So keep affirming if it's something you really want, that you deserve it, you're worthy of it, and you're going forward towards it. Or if you're comfortable with it, put it as it is now. So when I say I am worthy of my dream job, I am deserving of my dream job, I am working my dream job. If you're able to Put yourself in the feeling, even though you're not in your dream job yet, but you're in the excitement of it more than you're in the fear of it. You can say, I am working the dream job. If you say, I am working a dream job, and you immediately say, no, I'm not, I'm working a job right now that I don't even like, then you would want to go into, I'm in the process of becoming, working in my dream job. So I hope that makes sense. And I have a hair on my nose and it's itchy. So affirm, affirm, affirm. And then I want you to step into gratitude. It's pretty easy to step into gratitude when things are going our way. It's a lot more difficult when we are in those challenging places. But the more that you can be in a space of gratitude, you are feeding that energy of gratitude. When we're in a space of fear, which happens, again, please remember my scale is 0 to 100. I am not always positive. I am not always kind, and I'm not always loving. I am that the majority of the time because of my daily practices. So it's not about being always anything or never anything. It's about the majority of the time that you want to be there. So focus on what you're grateful for in your life right now. If you're in a really hard time, it might be focusing on you have a bed to sleep in. It might be focusing on that your body is functioning without you asking it to. I don't know about you. I don't have to ask my body to breathe. I don't have to ask my body for its heart to beat. Or if you're in a situation where you're in a medical situation and you need medical support for that, you can be grateful for the fact that there is medical support to help you breathe, to help your heart beat properly. So it's really about finding that gratitude and growing that gratitude. Keep focusing on when the don't wants show up. When you can find gratitude in the don't wants, then that's a bonus. But oftentimes we find the gratitude in the don't wants after it's over. Oh, now I see why I experienced that because I grew from it. But when you're able to find the gratitude, and maybe it's even in the hard time, finding the gratitude for the warm bed that your body's functioning for you, it's about focusing on what you want more than focusing on what you don't want. And I like to use this for anything that I'm working on manifesting. Manifesting is this or something greater. I can see from my vision of living in Chicago with my education background, with my experiences that I've had in my life, I can see a certain path forward in creating the manifestation I want to. 7 billion people on this planet. I don't even know how many people I know, but it's by far not even close to a billion. Probably not even close to a million for that matter, maybe 1,000. But anyway, there's 7 billion people on this planet who are all part of this world that I can't begin to see how they may play into what I'm wanting to do. So I can vision, I can get clear about what I want. I can see where I want to live. I can see where I want to work. I can see who I want to be in a relationship with. But it's still my own vision of what I don't see everything else around me that could make it even better than what I see. So I like to say this is my vision. This is what I want to manifest, or something greater. And that or something greater just allows different possibilities. If you've been with me before, you know I said I've been in Positive Focus. It became a nonprofit in 2009. It absolutely did not look like what it looks like today when I first started it. But I kept growing. I kept learning different ways and showing up differently, but with the same belief in helping people. My mission never changed. The vision of my mission changed. So know that it can show up in different ways. That dream job, you may have a specific title you want, but when you go into how you want to feel, how you want to participate, where you want to work, may look a little differently, but that feeling of what you want will be there for you. So this or something greater. So again, we're talking about manifestation. The word manifest is readily perceived by the senses, and especially by the sense of sight. You can see it. When we have faith in things, we can't see it. We don't know it's there, but we have faith that it's there. The manifestation part is we're able to see it. So we're in faith when we're growing what we want, when we're dreaming about what we want, when we're taking inspired action towards what we want. It's not about sitting here, closing your eyes and say, I want a new job, which you can do. That's part of it. But it is also about taking those small steps towards it. It might be researching it. It might be redoing your resume that's going to fit the new type of job you want. It might be looking at career boards. It could be a whole variety of things. But when you do it from inspired action rather than fear-based action, like you have to do it, it's just going to catapult you along further. Fear does not stop you, and fear is not bad. It's just how much time, energy, and attention do you want to give it. It's just the slowing down space to let you take some deep breaths, return to focusing on what you want rather than focusing on what you don't want. And I totally get it. When the don't want is in front of you, focusing on what you can't quite see yet is a harder thing to do, but it's still possible when you practice, practice, practice. And when you're gentle with yourself, when you're giving fear your attention more than you're giving what you love your attention. It's probably going to happen. I'm not going to tell you it always happens, but fear is not a bad thing to experience. It's just how much time do you want to give it, how much energy do you want to give it, and how do you want to show up in your life, in your world, and what you want to create for yourself. So that is what we have for today. Let me go into see if there's any questions. Dia, I'm so glad that you're here. Hello, Anna. Good to see you here as well. And I'm glad to hear things are looking up for you. I'm going to try to say your name, Musa. Ghana is in the house. And that's one of my favorite things about this community is there are people from all over the world. And we may have different backgrounds, different beliefs, but basically we all want food, housing, and to know that we matter in this world. So Kathy, you're in Ohio. Thank you. And Penny Ann is in Africa, so you're in the winter solstice as well. I don't think I missed anybody, and I do not see any questions. So I'm going to love and leave you. I do know that somebody has asked, let me go over the topics that are upcoming. Somebody wants me to talk about anxiety. I have before, but it's certainly a great topic to continue on. Grief. I believe it was Pierre who has lost his father within the last 3 months. So we'll talk about that. Lisa, self-love. Pallavi wanted to talk about regret and loneliness. I did not write down who wanted to talk about nervousness, but I will incorporate those. Probably grief will be on Thursday. But if you have any topics that you want me to bring a little bit more love, kindness, compassion, and peace to the conversation, the majority of the time, I really want people to understand I am not an always or never. When people say always be kind, I think it's absolutely a wonderful thing to strive for. But I don't know about you. My most unkindness comes towards myself when I'll beat myself up over saying something or doing something or not doing something. And then I return to being compassionate to myself. And remember, I'm doing the best I can with what I have, where I'm at, and go from there. But I'm not 100% kind, and I'm not 100% anything. But I am focused intentionally on being more loving, kinder, more compassionate, and peaceful and positive in this beautiful and messy world we live in. Hi, Sam from GB. I'm guessing it's Great Britain. Good to have you here. So I'm going to let you guys go for the day wherever you find yourself in this big, beautiful, and messy world. I hope you find it in a peaceful place. I hope you take these tips into account when you're manifesting something and understand the bigger the desire, often the more fear bubbles up around it too. So that's why it's good to start manifesting something that is easier to grasp, something that is easier to bring forward. And the less resistance you have around it, the easier it's going to come as well. So I'd love to hear what you're wanting to manifest. So please put it in comments. I will come back later to check on that. And I hope these tips help you for the day or forever for that matter. And I will see you again on Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago time. And I'll see you then. So take care and remember you matter. You matter to me, you matter to the world, and most importantly, you matter to you. So long for now.